questions?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Is it allowed for a woman to ask a man whom she would be marrying to take her to Hajj as well as her mother to Hajj? And thirdly, although my intention would also be to do it as Hajj Tamattu.
So that's the question that is it possible that the man she's going to marry, can she perform Hajj with that man along with the mother? Sister, the person who you have been thinking you'll be marrying or you have been engaged to, yet he is your Namharam. So Hajj with a Namharam is totally haram. So you cannot do Hajj that your husband will be your husband maybe after 2 months or 3 months and to perform Hajj together. It's totally haram, sister. He cannot be a Mahram. You have to do Hajj with your actual husband after you have done Nikah, or with your brother, or with your father, or with your uncle, but you cannot perform Hajj with the person who you will be marrying, or if he's a fiancé. Unless Nikah is done, you cannot perform Hajj. Whether it's Tamattu, whether it's joint Hajj, whether separate Hajj, any type of Hajj, even Umrah you cannot do with your fiancé sister. So that's not allowed in Islam. Hope that answers the question. Yes, brother.
Brother, we see that Christian put their name before that, like Saint Peter, Saint Joseph, and Saint Xavier. So, what is their ideology behind this?
There's a question that why do some Christians put Saint Joseph, Saint Peter? What is the saint? Saint means a holy person, a person close to God. In the Christendom, they have a particular philosophy that sainthood, not the philosophy that is there, sainthood can only be given by the Pope, and sainthood can only be given to a person after that person expires. And at least you have 2 miracles. So now, the latest saint they want to give is to Saint Mother Teresa. Mother title is for respect. Sister want to give sainthood to Mother Teresa also. So after she expired, the bill was passed in the Vatican. So the Pope has identified 1 miracle, which I forgot what the miracle was. So they have to identify 2 miracles. Person who dies is a holy person and close to God. Sainthood is given to a person who is supposed to be saintly person, means close to God. Now in today's age, to bestow a sainthood to anyone can only be given after the person dies. In today's age I'm talking about. After a person dies and after the Pope passes a decree, and then at least 2 miracles to be identified. So the one that is in the process of getting sainthood is Mother Teresa. Any sisters have any questions?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa barakatuh.
My question is regarding a person who, we cannot call him an atheist or discuss the entire discussion, it will take time. But the basic thing is we gave him certain scientific facts, certain logical facts, and in spite of that the person was not convinced, and everything got stuck where it comes to faith. So can't we really explain this concept of faith, or is it not possible for us to convince a non-Muslim regarding faith? Because there are many things for which even science does not have answers. So how do we? And also I would like to know that how do you keep yourself updated with the scientific innovations or maybe the inventions, new discoveries that are coming up?
There's 2 questions that we have spoken to an atheist or a person, not atheist, but doesn't believe in Islam. We tried to convince him with scientific facts, archaeological facts. They agreed, but when it comes to faith, we can't answer. How do we convince faith and how to update ourselves with scientific facts? This time regarding faith is concerned, with scientific facts we can talk about faith. But how you go about it is the technique. Therefore, Quran says in Surah Nahl, chapter 16, verse 25, Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal maw'izati hasana wajadil billati hasan. Invite all the way of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with them and reason with them in the ways that are best most gracious. So with science, you can prove to them about faith. Now, how you have gone about it is a different technique. So therefore, you have to ask the person who knows. So depending what your discussion is, like faith. I have faith that this is the word. It's faith. How do you prove it? Then I talk about science. So if you see my video cassette Quran Modern Science or read my book Quran Modern Science, inshallah it shows you a way. This is my faith. It is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can even prove it scientifically. So sister, there are many things which you can prove scientifically. There are some things, sister, which you cannot prove scientifically. For example, if they say that how can you prove there is life after death? So then you have to use logic. And for that you can refer to my video cassette Concept of Peace in Islam, or my question answer session, where I've proved how to logically prove about the concept of hereafter. One of the simple ways is that suppose the Quran speaks about 100 things, for example, out of which 80% of whatever the Quran has spoken, today we have come to know that it is established scientific fact. The other 20% about science for the Quran speaks, it is ambiguous, neither right, neither wrong. So my logic says when 80% is 100% correct, and the remaining 20% neither right, neither wrong, ambiguous. So my logic says that inshallah, even this 20% will be right. It's not a blind belief, it's a logical belief of the 20% which is ambiguous. Science hasn't proved it right, neither wrong. For example, the existence of jinn, about angels, about hereafter. Science hasn't proved. Neither has science proved that it is wrong. So my logic says that inshallah, even this will be right. So this is one way of proving. And the other way of proving is going to logical aspect, which if you see my video cassette, sister. So depend what faith you're talking about. Are you talking about faith in Quran? Are you talking faith in Allah? How to prove about Allah? If you see my video cassette, is the Quran God's word? So faith and different things. Faith in Allah, faith in the messengers, faith in the angels, faith in the hereafter. So sister, depending upon each faith, maybe the style how you convince differs. So if you see my video cassette, alhamdulillah, most of the major points of faith have been covered in my very different cassette, sister. And regarding the second question, that how can you update yourself with scientific knowledge, etc. Sister, you have to read the scientific journals and the books. So if you read the scientific books, there are several scientific books coming out every month, weekly, daily there are books coming out on science. Read that. Or, if time doesn't permit to read all, then you can read those books which are being written by Muslims on compatibility. You know, there are many books which come out, if not daily, then at least once a month or once a fortnight. There are books coming out at least on some aspects of Quran and science. There are journals. For example, Saudi Arabia, there's a journal, the name is Ijaz Ilm, Saudi Arabia, which talks only about Islam and science, Quran and science, nothing else. The journal is there, so read that journal and you get updated. There are journals in Arabic, there are journals in English. There are scientific journals, Muslim Science Journal, coming out from India, from Aligarh. I think it comes out once in 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. So there are mass, MAs, come by mass. So there are journals coming out. If you read these journals, you update it with knowledge, and even come to know what is spoken. So this is a shortcut, only reading Muslim journals. If you have more time, you can read the other journal and think for yourself what verses of the Quran match, and you can come out with new things yourself, inshallah. Hope that answers the question, sister. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.